welcome back to
Hi.
DrupalCon for Tuesday. I'm still Rachel Lawson, and I'm still the community liaison for the Drupal Association. And joining me today, we have Audra Merrick, who is the Drupal Association Board Chair. Hi,
Good
Audra.
morning. Hi, Rachel. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. So glad to have you here today, the second day of DrupalCon Europe 2021.
Yeah, so we're already into day 2, but what do you think of day 1 so far?
I had a great time yesterday. There were some really cool things happening. I was excited to see so many people coming into the contribution, the contribution section of the event, and also, of course, the keynote yesterday was fantastic. I really enjoyed seeing LJ Rich. And I think probably one of the other highlights for me yesterday, I don't know about you, but one of the highlights for me was the Women in Drupal event that happened for me yesterday evening.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it was really
because
nice.
I had to go run something else, so I didn't see that. So
Oh,
tell me
right,
all
of
about
course.
it.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a nice little breakout. We had Batty and Lenny joining, leading it, but lots and lots of faces. Some were familiar to me, some I hadn't met before. So it was nice to finish the day with that. So after lots of, popping in and out and meetings, and then being able to go and have chats and see how people are doing. So it was really good. So what did you get up to yesterday, Rachel? What were some of your highlights?
Well, I think yesterday the thing that was really good, that really struck me, was LJ's keynote. I think I'll be watching that another 10 times and learn something new every time I watch it.
Yeah.
It was so good. And I've never really thought of that creative process and music and how it applies to everything we all do. And
Yeah.
it really was super interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sure I'll be learning lots.
I really like her view of the world. It was really cool, and I loved seeing the audience, chat throughout, because you could see, things that were really speaking to people, or kind of new ways of thinking about things that were really striking people. So I thought it was really neat.
Yeah, it was really strange because obviously we've been doing rehearsals for the start yesterday and things like that. And when LJ was setting up and they were explaining the system and using OBS and all of the things that they were doing to make it work, it was such a epic undertaking that they took on to provide us with that keynote, and for it to be so
Yeah.
polished in the end was incredible.
Yeah, no, the preparation and the love that went into it was really apparent, which I think also just added to the charm of it all. I thought it was fantastic. So
yeah, and we only mentioned to her there was such a thing as the Drupal song. I think it was on Friday, so
she took it on board.
where they had the time to actually rejig the Drupal song in like a couple of days, I have no idea.
That's what happens when you get somebody amazing on board. So yeah, no, well done to the team organizing to get her on board, or get them on board. I think that was really a great addition to the program yesterday. So
Yeah.
So what about today? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was say before, I was on yesterday, another thing I really enjoyed was George Demet's Thorny Problems in Community Management, where he was looking back at the time that he's been working in the community working group and all the things that he's learned. And to be honest, we've learned from him, from his experiences as he's helped mentor others in that role. That was really good. And George has put a huge amount of effort into the community working group over the years, and he stepped down as part of that core team this year.
Yeah. He's left behind a big legacy, isn't he? I mean, it's not just like a really well-run community working group, which is, in itself, I think it's such an amazing part of the Drupal community. Something that I don't think that a lot of other communities don't have, have that kind of really solid foundation there. So I think, that's amazing.
Absolutely. It always makes me realize now that a code of conduct is not just a web page. It's not just words, it's actions and it's process, and it's actual the intent to actually follow it as well, all become part of that, like right across the project, whatever open source project it is. It really matters. So yeah, you mentioned what's going on today.
Yeah, day 2.
How about you? What type of things are you looking forward to today?
Well, of course, we need to plug the Drupal.org update. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be really important for people to join, I think. And I mean, it's close to our hearts, but also I think will be really fun and useful for a lot of people.
It will be fun. I tell you what, it will be fun because it's now quite early in the day. The Drupal.org update. It's at, what time is it? It's at 10:50 CEST. But that most of our engineering team, so Tim and Ryan and Neil and Brendan, they're all on the West Coast US. So it's going to be really early for them.
Kind of the middle of the night, I think, for them. Yeah. So you could come for the information and stay for the maybe partially hallucinatory, tired engineers giving their updates from the West Coast to the US. I think that's on the schedule for, is that for 11 a.m. UK?
Yeah, just before 12, so it'd be 11 a.m.
Central European Standard Summertime. And I think obviously one of the other really big things happening today is the keynote happening with the Pfizer team, the build versus buy open source. I think that's going to be amazing. Obviously, Pfizer has a great legacy of contributing to Drupal and encouraging contribution to Drupal over many, many years. And so I think it's going to be really interesting, to kind of open that up and hear from the team, hear from some of the leadership there about how they do it, why they do it, what is it all about? Because I think it could be a good inspiration for a lot of organizations who may be looking to do something similar.
Yeah, I mean, I know, having spoken with people there before, when we talk about using Drupal at scale, the scale that they work at, the number of sites that they make live, almost like new sites they make live, even like per week, it's like a number of sites. It's an incredible operation.
No, I think it's going to be a scale that a lot of organizations maybe don't even realize is possible. So I think that's going to be really, really cool. There are also a couple of other things on my list. I think, I mean, one thing that's kind of near and dear to my heart is kind of making people feel at home and kind of well integrated and well working teams. And I think there's a great session that's happening. It's 10:30 UK time, so an hour later for the folks in Western Europe, 2 hours later for the folks in Eastern. Onboard new colleagues the structured way for more happiness, stability, and performance. I mean, that I don't know, that may not be everybody's cup of tea, but to me, I feel like that is such an important thing. It makes such a difference in how quickly people kind of feel part of a team and get up to speed and things like that. So I think that's going to be a great session.
And it's not just whether that's necessarily, for want of a better description, part of your job. It affects every single one of us.
Absolutely.
Regardless. So if you are somebody providing that onboarding, yes, absolutely, it's all good to see. But actually, on the other hand, if you're somebody who should be being onboarded, being brought into a company, what should you be expecting? What should we as employees be thinking? Well, this is right and this is wrong. I think absolutely, we should be expecting as well as delivering.
I think it's good for everybody involved, right? Because also, like you say, for people who maybe have been around providing that onboarding or preparing it, it gives you a chance to kind of think about, what do we do? How do we do it? Why do we do it that way? you know, kind of thinking about all those things, because I think that's also the way we improve and reflect. So I think it's I mean, anyway, I'm interested to see what comes out of that session, because I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we move into the afternoon, then we've got all the different camps have got their own time that are involved. The camps that are involved have got their own time for their own programming. And I would heartily recommend to everyone to go see the different flavor in the different places. Experience the Drupal Jam studio. I can't believe they've got a whole studio. It's incredible.
It is so cool. It is so cool. I guess I think it's such a great model that, you know, having several of the camps part of DrupalCon Europe this year. I mean, I really enjoyed Drupal Jam the last time it happened, you know, but I think, you know, having it be part of this overall event, I think is really cool, you know, because it does give us insight. It allows us to kind of, you know, experience some of those camps that we wouldn't always get to do. So.
And we'll all know then what type of event that we like going to, and we can maybe start making our travel plans into 2022. Yes.
hopefully. But yeah, you know, I think even being able to see like innovative ways that people are doing virtual, you know, because I think you know, even when we are able to go back to in person, there's probably going to be some level of hybrid or virtual events that we'll, you know, continue to do.
Absolutely.
Which is nice. You know, it's I miss being in person, definitely, and, you know, getting to see people face to face. But you know, the accessibility that a virtual event, you know, offers, I think, for so many people is, you know, in some ways that's something that I don't want to lose. So yeah, definitely being able to see those different events and get ideas, because I'm sure for a lot of folks who are organizing, you know, getting you know, some tips or inspiration from other groups is always good as well.
Yeah.
So what else is on your list?
We've got the first time contributor workshop. So those people who've never contributed to Drupal before might want to consider going to that and learning from Chris Dark, who's going to be there helping people learn how to use tools and contribute to Drupal. It's a pretty important thing, though, because, well, what is Drupal without contribution, Audra?
No, absolutely. Contribution is such an important part of being part of the Drupal community, how we advance the Drupal project. And of course, you know, we wouldn't have Drupal without a massive amount of contribution across lots and lots of different individuals and organizations. But so many, I think, people get so much from a contribution. We hear those stories over and over again about the, you know, what people get, you know, in terms of their job, their professional development, you know, how they meet other people within the community, and perhaps, you know, start to create things of their own. I think, you know, there's so many different opportunities that come with contributing, and it is such a vital part of what we do. So yeah, definitely, if you've never contributed before and you're curious, please join the first time contributors workshop today, because I think it's a great introduction, really low stress, and a warm welcome will come out of it. So definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Audra. I shall let you go and get involved in meeting lots of different people. And we'll let the day begin.
Awesome.
Enjoy DrupalCon, everyone.
Yeah, enjoy.